All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the Super Bowl contenders for the 23-24 season. Aaron Rodgers. Is this it for him? Is he done? Going to be covering week one in general, specifically the Lions at Chiefs, 49ers at Pittsburgh, Bengals at Browns, Eagles at Patriots. And at the very end, I'm going to talk about my picks for this upcoming game on Thursday, which is going to be the Vikings at Eagles. So here we go. So first of all, I want to start off talking about NFL Sunday Ticket. So NFL Sunday Ticket gives you the ability to watch out-of-market games. I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan by birthright. That means I'm in if we're 3-13 or if we're 13-3. That's the home team for me, so that's who I gotta watch for the most part. So the NFL Sunday Ticket gives me the ability to watch all those games. They changed it this year from DirecTV having a contract to YouTube. So YouTube's kind of doing a good job. They have this multi-view thing, which lets you view multiple games at once. So you pick if you want to just watch one game or two or three or four. They have like a grid and it shows you whatever ones you could pick. But yeah, NFL Sunday Ticket, like the NFL, is not for poor people. That's kind of the way that they're heading. If you want to watch the games, you either got to pay for NFL Sunday Ticket, or you got to get NFL Network, which requires cable, or you got to get NFL Red Zone, which is a paid thing. If you want to watch football on Thursday, you got to get Amazon because they got the rights to some of those games there. So yeah, man, football is no longer a everyman sport. If you go to a sports bar, I guess you can watch it. Other than that, you're subject to whatever your local game is, which is just not fun. So that's NFL Sunday Ticket. Talking about the upcoming season, what I'm looking at is I always think about who's probably going to go to the Super Bowl. And I'm thinking about for the AFC, it's probably going to be either Kansas City, Buffalo Bills, or the Bengals. That just seems to be like the logical candidates. NFC, even though I am an Eagles fan, I don't think that the Eagles are going to win the NFC Championship. I think it's actually going to be San Francisco 49ers because I remember watching that NFC Championship game last season. San Francisco was on like their third string quarterback. San Francisco was also hanging with them for a good time. If Purdy wouldn't have got hurt with that elbow, I kind of think they would have won. So I kind of got to take all the emotion out of it. I do think the Eagles are going to make the playoffs. I think they might be in that NFC Championship game, but I think that probably the 49ers are going to win that. So that's kind of like my mind frame when I'm looking at games this season. I just wanted to tell you what it is I saw. So first observations, man, this was a weird week in the NFL. There was just weather, right? There were a few games that I'm going to talk about where it was just nasty weather and it was just very unexpected. In NFL, like most things in life, no one cares about what you did last year. So starting off with this Thursday game, Lions at Chiefs. Yeah, the Lions have been on a run. They went to Kansas City and they were serious. And I remember I was watching this game and I was like, okay, usually these first week games, people are kind of trying to feel each other out. But nah, they went right out there. They started fighting immediately. Of course, the Chiefs did not have what you could arguably say is two of their best players. They didn't have Kelsey on offense, and they didn't have Chris Jones on defense. So with that being said, I still thought that they would win, but I thought that it would be more competitive. But even saying all that, they still almost won. They lost by 1 point, but that was mainly because the receivers, had a couple drops. All in all, though, I'm not really worried. I just think, and I'm hoping that this was just the first week. We're kind of rusty. We got to kind of get back into our thing. So I'm not really worried about that. I think that the Chiefs are going to be fine. They won the Super Bowl. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for at least 3 games before I start talking about pull the plug on them. But yeah, it was unexpected. But I was looking at this 49ers game because like I said before, that's kind of who I got an eye at in the NFC. And when I turned there, I was like, damn, they was just doing whatever they wanted. That game against Pittsburgh, they dominated. They just basically were doing whatever it is they wanted to do. It was just total domination. The offense, Pittsburgh couldn't get going at all, and it was just more like I'm sure the Steelers just want to forget that game. But I know that Mike Tomlin, he'll figure it out. They started pretty bad last season, but he somehow managed to have a winning season, if I recall correctly. So I'm not really too worried about that. But what I saw in that game was just total domination by the 49ers. I want to see what they do for the rest of this season. But that was pretty much manhandled. They manhandled them. Bengals at Browns. Joey B and the Bengals. Burrowhead, all that types of stuff. So I was like, all right, I know that Burrow, he had some type of injury during training camp, so he didn't practice, calf strain, whatever. I don't know. I don't know what it was. He looked like it. When I saw this game, it was just pouring rain. It was just a classic, like, Cleveland and Cincinnati, two teams that hate each other. Who's going to be the best team in Ohio type of deal. And they were battling, but the Browns, they were just able to just dominate that game. Joe Burrow couldn't get anything going. I saw the ball slip a couple times. The weather was bad. Browns were playing in the weather also, and they were still making plays. So this is another one where I'm in like a let's see, because that's Burrow. I don't believe a lot of the hype around Burrow. I think he's solid. They gave him his money, so, I mean, they must believe in him, which is all that matters. But I'm going to wait and see another game or two. I just remember that last year the Bengals started off slow, but, you know, they went on a run. So, again, when you win and you have a winning record, I'm kind of going to give you the benefit of the doubt. So that's where I looked at. That's what I saw at that game. I saw what I'm hoping is just like a rusty Bengals team. Eagles at Patriots. So, of course, this was the game that I was looking forward to watch. This was an afternoon game. My son and I were watching this. And this was just an ugly game. I remember after the game, I was just saying, like, some people say that was like an ugly win. I mean, that was hideous. That was hideous. Yeah, they got it done, but it was just, man, if it wasn't for Darius Slay back there and that pick six and just, you know, the Eagles defense, they would have lost that game. I mean, because of the weather, this is, again, the weather impacted this game. It was rainy and misty, so it looks like they changed a lot of the plays. They went with a lot of like shorter plays instead of these down the field things that Hurts likes doing. They still had a couple of them to A.J. Brown, but it was just, they had to change the entire game plan. This is another one where they were in the Super Bowl last year, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'll just say it again. Darius Slay was the difference maker in that game. I will see on Thursday at this home game what's going to happen. And finally, Buffalo at Jets. So I'm going to put a lot of time in this segment because there's like a lot of storylines on this game. And this is just like, okay, this is the one that I was waiting to see. And I'm sure America was waiting to see this also. Just starting off with Buffalo. I like the whole Bills Mafia movement. I'm with all that. The problem is that I'm a Kansas City Chiefs follower for personal reasons also. Very close personal reasons. I used to live in Kansas City. I've been to Arrowhead Stadium. My first football game was at Arrowhead Stadium. So when I was watching this game, I was thinking to myself, okay, Buffalo, the Bengals, and Kansas City are like the three teams that are pretty much at the top of the AFC. So now Buffalo, I remember I was watching that game last year where Damar Hamlin got hurt. Thank God they were able to revive him. I was very happy about that. But when he came back and then I saw him at like the NFL awards and stuff, I was like, damn, the Bengals are going to milk this Damar Hamlin story for whatever they can. And at the same time, I mean, I'm okay with that, right? They're in that business. This is sports entertainment. They exploit each other. The athlete has abilities that they exploit to put on a show and sell tickets. I'm okay with that. But they are going to milk this Damar Hamlin story for as much as they possibly can. Yeah, he was at the game. Of course he was. But he was not active. The story was, well, they got a lot of people at safety. Okay, whatever. But I remember when Damar Hamlin got hurt and he came back, I was telling my son, like, that dude is probably never going to play football again. Not on the field. And I don't think he should for a variety of reasons. Yes, he did the work, but the fact that he got hit and his heart stopped, I think that it would be negligent on the fault of the Buffalo Bills to put him back on the field. Now, people are going to argue with me when saying, well, you know, that could have happened to everybody. Yeah, it could have, but it happened to him. So once you know something has happened and you put that person in that type of situation, now you're a lot more liable to that for as an organization. And I remember if I'm an owner of the Buffalo Bills, this is what I'm going to do. I want to use this guy. He's basically like a cheerleader now. Let's just use this guy as a promotional. It's a feel good story. NFL loves stories like that. Overcoming odds. I came back from the dead. But yeah. I get all that. But this guy, he just probably make him a coach or whatever like that, because it's just more of a distraction. Because if I'm on the opposing team, right, and he's out there, and I gotta hit this dude, like in the back of my mind, I'm gonna be thinking like, damn, I might literally kill this fucking dude. And that's unfair to everybody else out there. Yeah, you could say, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing, but it's always gonna be in the back of my mind. Like I want to hit this dude, but at the same time, I mean, I don't want to kill this dude. So it's just really a bad look. I think they should take him out of there. So that's my DeMar Hamlin angle of Buffalo at Jets. Aaron Rodgers, man, the way they hyped this Jets thing, I just knew. I was like, nothing can live up to that hype. My son and I, we watched Hard Knocks together, and I was just like, man, they are really hyping this team up. They talking about going to the Super Bowl and everything else, and I was like, okay, maybe, but they were just really, 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 really hyping this thing up to death. Personally, Aaron Rodgers, I think that he's an amazing athlete. I think he's done a lot of good things in the NFL. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. His stats, his records, I don't know what he does on or off the field. Like, maybe you need to be a Walter Payton Man of the Year recipient. But the problem that I have with Aaron Rodgers right now, it just has to do with just like him as a man. And had to do with the way that he did this whole COVID-19 vaccination thing. So everybody in the NFL was required to get the shot. If you didn't get the shot, they were going to waive you. So some people did, some people didn't. Aaron Rodgers lied, misled, whatever you want to say about getting the shot, and he said he was immunized, whatever. But I mean, that's a grown man. He knew what he was doing. He lied about it. And my take on that is, as a man, he has the right to believe whatever he wants to believe, right? If he thinks that there's chips in them or whatever, they're unsafe, whatever, he has a right to believe that. What he doesn't have the right to do is make potentially life-changing decisions for the guy next to him and his wife and kids, the guy next to him, his wife and kids. He doesn't have the right to just arbitrarily make decisions about 52 other people's families because he doesn't believe in it. They're in there sweating together, breathing hard in each other's face. I think when he did that, I just lost a lot of respect for him, because there's a lot of people who just said, I'm not doing it. When they got fined or they didn't play. I remember Ice Cube turned down a movie. I think it was like $30 million or something. They wanted him to get vaccinated. He said, no, I'm not doing it. So you see what I'm saying? That's an entirely different thing. One is, I don't believe in this. I'm not doing it. I'll accept the consequences. Another one is lying about it and trying to be like a sneaky little, I'm not even going to say the word about it. Two different type of things. You just don't do that. As a man, I just don't respect him as a man. But I think that he's a good NFL player. He's a good quarterback. He's earned his accolades. I hope that he recovers safely. But I think that Aaron Rodgers is done. I mean, he's old. His body is not healing as fast as it used to before. And I think that was the last game we saw of Aaron Rodgers suiting up. He came out. He had the flag. It was good nostalgia, good memorabilia. It's a good clip. But that's it for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, his contract is good. I mean, he's got guaranteed money. So for the next 2 years, after taxes, right? After taxes, this dude is going to get like $2 million a month. So I'm thinking what he's going to do is he's going to be on the sideline probably for the first year, just to kind of, be a stand-up guy. I think he'll do that. But I think after that, he's going to just go ahead and retire. And he's going to get his money or whatever, be a consultant, whatever. But that's the end of Aaron Rodgers. Talked a lot so far, but I haven't even got to the game. Yeah, this game, Buffalo blew it. Josh Allen was off. He threw 3 interceptions. Yeah, he is playing against the Jets defense, which is very good. I mean, Sauce Gardner, you got award winning like rookies. That's an award winning defense. It reminds me of the Baltimore defense when they won the Super Bowl, where you know, as bad as Zach Wilson is, he might just be good enough. Basically, the defense is so good where they're like, look, just don't throw any more than one interception, and we'll do the rest. But Josh Allen was off. I think that I think they didn't exploit it when Rodgers went down in the NFL. I mean, a lot of times in the NFL it's about momentum. The momentum shifted. I think what they should have done is exploit that momentum. They should have just ran up the score, but they were just kind of playing conservative and they couldn't get anything done. They blew it. I like Stephon Diggs, but I mean, this dude, like, anytime he makes a catch, like, I could do with a lot of, like, the funny faces and all this types of stuff he's doing. I get it. He's trying to be hype. But it's way too much because Sauce Gardner was on him. He basically shut him down. He couldn't do anything with Sauce Gardner on him. Yeah, he got a touchdown, but for the most of the game, Josh Allen couldn't even throw over there. He couldn't, which is respect. That shows you respect from the quarterback. But speaking of receivers, I mean, that circus catch that Garrett Wilson did at the end of that game, I mean, that's something where Stephon Diggs, you make a catch like that, man, then go ahead and say, I'm him, and, act crazy and everything. You're not getting no Justin Jefferson catches. So just, chill out, relax. But overall, I think they blew it. That was my take on Buffalo Jets. All right, so week 2 coming up. Thursday night football. This is the game that I'm looking for. Vikings at Eagles. I already gave you guys my Eagles connection, but I want to talk a little bit more about this game. So there's a couple things going on. Kirk Cousins, I'm a fan of Kirk Cousins, man. I think that I watched him, of course, the edited version on Netflix, the quarterback show he was on there. He seems like a family man like me, a conservative person like me, a person of faith like me. I think, he's everything that you would want in an NFL quarterback. But at the same time, he's putting up numbers. He's gotten close. But, I mean, this is another guy. He's up there in age. He's getting beat up every week. His body can't take it, man. It's got to be like now or never. So he needs to go to the Super Bowl this season. Or else, I mean, Justin Jefferson is going to want more money. They're having a hard time keeping that team together as is. Kirk Cousins, I mean, they lost his first game. Kirk threw 2 interceptions, I think. Sure, first week, again, things happen. But now you got to go to Lincoln Financial Field and you got to play a team that was in the Super Bowl who managed to get a win even in the most terrible fashion, like I discussed earlier. I just don't see them going to Philadelphia and beating them on their home field. Yeah, it is a short week for the Eagles, but I just don't see it. I mean, Kirk, sorry, man, I love you, but I mean, not this week, man. So I'm going to go for the Eagles to win. I don't care how they win. I just think that they have to win at home. They can't lose their home opener against the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings defense is bad. They got playmakers on there, but I just think overall the Eagles are going to win. So that's my pick for week 2. That's all I got to say. That's what I saw in week 1. Let me know what you saw. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time.